Hi everybody, this is Lisa, and in today's video we're going to be focusing on some fundamental baking do's and don'ts. Baking, I didn't see many of these videos on YouTube or on the internet as a whole, and that caused some trial and error. So I had to do trial and error like crazy, and most of the times that either cost me a customer that still don't trust me up until today. Even though I've redeemed myself a couple of times. And it also cost me a lot of time and money because I wasted a lot of ingredients not knowing the do's and don'ts and the basics of baking. So baking essentially is science. So if you didn't take science in school, it's gonna humble you a little bit, trust me. But not to worry, there's always a workaround. The number one baking fail that I was taught over the years is preheat your oven, please. I know it seems unnecessary, but preheat your oven. It is very necessary. If you are not going to preheat your oven, that temperature in that oven is not going to be able to circulate equally throughout the oven, and it's not going to make a conducive environment for your cake to bake correctly. While we're on the topic of temperature, let's touch on the temperature of your ingredients. So if you're going to be using eggs or milk in your recipe, or even buttermilk for that matter, if you're going to use any of those for your recipe, I would suggest that you take out those ingredients a couple of hours before the time. Minimum 2 hours before the time, so that your ingredients can come to room temperature before you start using it. Reason for that being, if you're going to use cold ingredients in your cake, it's going to cause the perimeters of your cake, while it's baking, it's going to cause the perimeters of your cake to bake evenly and to bake perfectly, whereas the middle of your cake is still going to be raw and dense, right? So by the time the middle of your cake rises and it is baked, then it creates a dome that could result in waste, a lot of cake waste. That's if you're not going to be using it for cakesicles or for cake pops. But it's going to create a dome, and it's also going to create the perimeters of your cake to be dry and hard, and that is something you do not want at all. So bring your ingredients to room temperature before you start using it, to ensure a nice even bake. Learned is to not omit the salt. This is a big one. It seems very insignificant, but it is a really big one, because if you omit the salt in your recipe, it's not going to be there's not going to be anything to balance the sugar. So something is going to taste off. You're just not going to know what it is, but I can guarantee you that it's going to be the salt. So if your recipe calls for even a quarter teaspoon of salt, please put in the quarter teaspoon of salt, because that is going to make the world's difference. Topic of taste and flavor, I do want to urge you to please check your expiry dates. There is nothing worse than baking a cake, getting all the steps ready, having your ingredients at room temperature, preheating your oven, all this good stuff, and your cake still flops. Why? Because you didn't check the expiry date on your leavening agents. Check the expiry dates on your baking soda, baking powder, as well as your flour. Check your expiry dates on all of those ingredients to make sure that your cake rises to the occasion every time. Rises to the occasion. See what I did there? Next thing that we're going to be speaking about is, there's a saying that goes, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. And that could not be more true when it comes to the baking world. If you have, or even if you need to have a notebook next to you and you need to do a checklist of all your ingredients, do that. Do that ahead of time, so that if you are missing anything, you still have a moment to run out to the store and go get last minute things that you might have missed. If you do not do that, you are going to be left at the crossroads in the middle of the night or whenever you're baking, and shops are closed and everything, and it's just going to be a whole mess. So rather do that, do your checklist, have everything set out before the time so that you know exactly where you are at. And it also creates way less mess that way. Trust me. Ask my family, ask me. We know all about that. It's going to create way less mess for you. So you're going to have all your ingredients and it's just going to be a whole smooth operation. So do that and you should be good. And another baking fail that I encountered in my couple of years of baking is to not overwork your batter. If you're going to overwork your batter, it's going to result in a very tough and dense crumb. So your cake is going to be very tough and dense, and it's not going to be the velvety, light, airy type of texture you're going for. You're going to lose that completely, and it's going to be tough and bubblegum like, and it's just not it. I actually have a story time about that. So a couple of years ago, the group that I was ministering with, we went to braai at one of the members' houses. And I, with my big mouth, told everybody, I'm bringing a cake. I'm bringing a cake. I'm just loud and proud, I'm bringing a cake. I knew when the cake was done, when I took the cake out of the oven and I sliced the cake, and I knew this is not it. I knew. I said, no, I'm going to have to cancel the cake. I'm not going to bring it. It didn't come out right. I'm not going to bring it. And they were like, no, it's fine. Bring the cake. Bring the cake. It's okay. Just bring the cake. We can have ice cream with the cake. We can do this. We can do that. Don't worry about it. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, cool. You said I must take the cake. I took the cake. I was embarrassed. I was so embarrassed that whole day. Everyone was there. Everyone was there. Still thinking about it today. Don't do that. Please, fam. Don't do that. That cake was standing there. Not one soul ate a bite of that cake. Not one. Not even to show me that they are eating the cake. Not even to make me feel better. And I don't blame them, no shame. I took a bite and I was like, I understand, I totally understand. Chappies could have endorsed me at that point. I think that would have made a perfect Chappies advert. Nah, one time. I hid in a corner and went to go drown in my sorrows there. So please don't do that to your guests. Don't do that, it's just not worth it. So don't overwork your batter. So whisk until you see it just combined, you're still seeing little bits of flour here and there. Stop immediately. Take a silicone spatula and work your batter the rest of the way like that, so that you have complete control over how much you mix, and so that you can see that it is just incorporated. On the topic of bringing your ingredients to room temperature when you are making buttercream, please ensure to bring your margarine or your butter, whatever you're going to be using, bring that to room temperature as well. It needs to be soft to the touch, not melted, not too soft. It just needs to be soft where you can press your finger in it and it holds the print of your finger, but there's not too much resistance. That is the perfect texture for your butter or your margarine to have before you start whipping and start making your buttercream. If you're not going to do that, you're going to be left with specks of butter or margarine in your buttercream, and that is really not a nice experience. You're just going to taste butter and fat and grease in your mouth, and it's just not it. So bring your ingredients to room temperature. And yeah, that's all that I have time for today. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking with me in this video. Thank you. If you have reached the end of this video, I thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe, please like and share and comment, and if this helped you in any way, please comment down below. If you know someone that it could help, please tag them And thank you so much. See you in the next one. Bye.